Arizona, right?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I think it's a nice breezy 108 today, you guys. So
Yep.
hopefully people could deal with us with the heat and everything. Let's see. Okay. I don't know if the chat is working. I don't see any comments yet or anybody in the chat. But so tonight we will get to meet Miss MarieLucinda, find out everything about her, and we're going to explore some of her gifts and talents in her natal birth chart. Okay. So I guess I really want to start off and kind of ask a double or two-sided coin question, right?
Yes.
Who is Marie Lucinda? And also, who is the Christed Bride?
Well, we're the same. One and the same. Well, Marie Lucinda, that's my matrix name here. And I was sent in as a missionary from heaven. And it took me over half, well, just about under half 100 years to begin my ministry. So it's been a preparation all my life to begin for this great shift that's happening to humanity. And I'm a single mom, mama of two, and I'm a grandma of seven, and
Wow, wait.
absolutely,
A grandma of seven? That is awesome.
yeah. I know. I love my little baby grandbabies. Yeah, and twins. Did I tell you I had twin girls, grandbaby girls?
Oh, okay. Not your children, but your
No, no,
grandchildren. You have twins. Okay, so we
granddaughters.
have that in
Yeah.
common with the twins.
Yes, we do.
Oh, that's a blessing.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So give us a window into so we can, the audience can understand
Mhm.
what is your practice and the different modalities that you do, and take us through the Christed Bride, because
Okay.
there's
Mhm.
so much work that you do, but I kind of
Yeah.
want you to kind of clarify and explain it for the audience so they have an idea, because a lot of people go through emotional, physical, spiritual traumas
Mhm.
through our lives, and we
Mhm.
could see that through the
Mhm.
birth chart. But
Right.
I want you to share, and then we can get into your story and get into those childhood gifts. But share that,
Okay.
please.
Well, what I do is I'm a healer, so I'm a shaman, surgeon, and the way my gifts opened up all the way is because emotionally I cleaned out all those dark blankets that were covering my light. And Father God took me on an amazing journey of creation of how do I work through these 40 dark emotions. And
Mm.
I was shown that they are holy teachers. So my journey was 10 years to learn and be guided by heaven on how to do this for me. And then I was asked to share my journal, which is my book, Resurrection Journey of the Christed Bride. So I take you up into heaven and I show you my prayers on how I wanted to help humanity. And I went to Father and asked if I could come here. And he goes, yep. And he pushed me in. And I've been awake. I came in all the way awake. And I had an earth guardian father that trained me in my gifts. And then he was murdered. And then, of course, we just got all locked down and just goobered, bundled up. And
And when he
my
was murdered, wait, tell the
uh-huh.
audience, because I know you shared it with me, but you said 13, correct?
I
When
was
he was murdered?
13. Yes. Yes. He was shot to death. Yeah. And thrown out on the street. And I lost everything.
I'm
And
so
it
sorry.
was such a paradigm shift in my life. And so, knowing I was from heaven and I had all these gifts, I got so mad that I was abandoned and left here all by myself because nobody knew my gifts. I couldn't share it with my mom, my stepdad, nobody. It was just my dad. So he only had a window of 13 years with me. So then, we get all pissy and mad and we start going a little dark and going to play with our dark toys, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And then there came a time where it was time to start cleaning up, and I was telling Father, well, hey, I am clean. And he goes, no, you're not. And so he took me on this big deep journey of into my emotional body on how to work with that. And it's a new path of healing he trained me in. And like I said, 10 years it took me to really walk it and complete the whole thing. And then he asked me to share it. So when I released it to the public, then he said, well, okay, good for you, but what about everybody else? And then that's when I created the workbook. So it's a path of healing. So I teach by example. This is how I got unbundled and cleaned up and lifted my light levels in my body. So my gifts opened up. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, but take us back, because this is really fascinating. So let me just share a little bit. You guys, hello to everybody in the chat.
Hi.
We'll get to your comments and questions soon.
Yeah.
But MarieLucinda is a Libra rising with a Virgo moon in the 12th house conjunct Uranus and Pluto. And we're going to get back to that because that's a very powerful marker. And then the Cancer sun in the 10th house. And then Neptune in the 2nd house in Scorpio, which I think really speaks to in those early years.
Yeah.
You had told me something off air, and I want you to share with the audience because I thought it was really wild. So you said the key word a couple of minutes ago when you said that you were born fully awakened. And so share with the audience, because when you saw people and were first learning how to talk, you were kind of seeing them in the spiritual realm, or seeing them how you saw energies in heaven? Like, explain that, because that's really heavy.
I know. Being born awake means that I don't have any veils on. So I can see up into the heavens, and I have all my memories, and I've come in like that. So when Father was showing me my little body being knit together in my mom's womb, he was also talking to me about it and explaining to me what was going to happen and everything. And then he told me to take a big breath, and he pushed me in my little avatar body.
Okay, so do you remember, like, do you have memories from your mother's womb?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. That I remember tumbling and doing somersaults and playing. I remember all of it the entire time. So what I shared with you is when I went to preschool and I got involved with other little kids, I was saying, oh, did you just enjoy all the somersaults you got to do in your mom's tummy? And then it got so tight, and then it was like, bam, this big light, and then you get spanked.
And they're looking at you like, what's in your apple juice, little girl?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you don't remember? And, it just kind of freaked me out. I learned, 4 or 5 years old, I better keep my mouth shut. But I was born fluent in my heavenly language. So English is the languages here upon this planet have been difficult because I'm fluent from heaven. But, I try and integrate both.
So when you say that, though, is that what we know now today? Like, would you consider that like light language?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is that different from like when you're talking to the Holy Spirit speaking in tongues, or is that sort of the same?
It's all the same.
Okay.
Yep. It's the language of heaven, angels, and every language upon this planet in unison as one language. So when I talk to Father, I never run out of things to say.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you take some questions in the chat?
Okay.
And we can see what's going on and who's here and everything.
Okay. Let me grab my glasses.
Okay. Yeah. Let's
all right. Let's see here.
I could just imagine the kids and you talking about like being in the tummy, and they're like, what?
Oh, I know. They freaked out. I would try and talk to other people, but the hardest thing is that when I would look into people, I could see their beginning to their end. And it was very overwhelming for a very young mind because it wasn't developed here in the matrix yet. So I don't mean
to cut you off, but does that mean that you could see, like, let's say if you're like only 4 or 5 years old, but you could see, let's say a middle-aged person, right? And, like our age now, like in their 50s, but you could see like if they were going to only live 10 more years or something?
I could look in their life like a movie, and I could see their beginning and end, and I could stop it and zoom in.
But how quickly does that, like, give me an example? Because like let's say if you're just like going to the ice cream store with your dad, because your dad was kind of your real guide here and teaching you how to
Yes.
understand this stuff,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, but let's just say you're going to get some ice cream and you just see a man and he's like, "Oh, hi, little girl," but it's only for, it's like barely a minute and a half, like interaction with you and
Yeah.
this other human.
Mhm.
In
Yeah.
that short of a time, you could
Yes.
see.
Everybody. Yeah. So he trained me to keep speaking in my language, right? And to focus on other things, not get so drawn into the people. But it overwhelmed me. It almost buckled me to the floor a lot. So I didn't do well in public very well because I would see
Well,
all
that
this
could be
stuff.
like not only frightening, but I mean, like, how do you even
It was very
comprehend? Like,
difficult. It was very well, he spoke in spirit to me also. So he would explain and download the mysteries and explain things to me. And then it would interpret into my mind age appropriately as I got older. I tell you what, it was the hardest thing I ever went through because I hated the gift. And when I got older, I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable to be around people because it's like I could see into people. It's like, I don't need to see
right.
this.
So, honey, real quick,
Yeah.
before we get to the
Okay.
chat, I just got to ask
Yeah.
this because your
Mhm.
sun is kind of opposing your Lilith. She has the true black moon Lilith in Capricorn in the fourth house, and we'll get to that in a minute. But it opposing the sun in the 10th house. Was this gift? Do you feel like it's genetic through the father's lineage?
I'm not sure. I think it was a direct gift from heaven and why I was sent in as a missionary for this ship. I think
Ah,
it was specific. And he was specifically trained to work with me.
so you don't think so? It's not like your father and if his parents or anybody was able to do what he was able to do.
No,
Okay.
no.
All right.
It had to come through that bloodline. So I'm Lebanese and Sicilian, and he was from Lebanon. So it came in through that. But it's just the bloodline. But the gifts that we are given from heaven, they are very specific to what we're supposed to do. It's not
Right.
necessarily passed through, just because my dad didn't have this, I don't get
Right.
that.
And we choose our parents, right? We
Yes.
choose. Yeah. So
Yes. Mhm.
that makes sense. Okay. Well, let's go to the chat because that's
All
like,
righty.
whoa.
Hi, everybody. Irene and Stephen and Evelyn and Shambili, Evelyn Torres. Awesome. My father he was gifted in spirit, so he could speak to me back and forth. So that's what we did all the time, is just spoke in spirit. And he trained me how to work with my gifts and learn how to minimize it because I couldn't close them down. So it's kind of like opening up Windows on your computer screen, and then it's always open, like the Word document, and then you minimize it over, and then you can focus on other things. And so that's what I do now. I can minimize it or open it up now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
give me what was the age
Mhm.
where you found it really maybe a tool to use to your advantage? Let's say even in the teenage years with dating boys or knowing if this girlfriend is a real friend or is she lying to you? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, did you?
I didn't use the gift like that. It was so overwhelming to me that once I learned how to minimize it, I honored everyone's privacy because I don't need to snoop around. And that honor, but I can look at Will now. I can look at anybody if I want to, but I always ask if I should.
Do you ask
Right?
you ask them for permission, or are you asking God?
Father. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very holy gift. It's overwhelming. But yeah, there are times where he says, look, or he'll show me things, or like there was one situation where I was a trainer and this one girl was trying to project herself as this really prissy Christian and all of this. And all of a sudden it just opened up and I saw her, in bed with her boyfriend that lived with her. So she was lying to me and trying to project something. And I saw the truth of it. And I told her, I go, you don't really need to lie to me. I go, what you do in your home with your boyfriend that lives with you is really up to you. So please don't lie to me. And of course, she freaked out. Like, how did you know? And I was like, I saw it, but sometimes it was for correction, but I never thought, oh, I wonder if they're lying. And then I would look. I don't do that.
Right. Okay. I get that. Yeah. No,
Okay.
and that's fascinating. So, and you guys, if you have any questions, let's get back to the chat. But let me just say this. So, with Moon conjunct Uranus Pluto, and MarieLucinda is born in that generation that was, really powerful in the mid 60s, like 65 to 67, where you have the Uranus Pluto conjunction. And, it's also there in Libra. But in Virgo, it's really strong in terms of the element on the health axis of being for service and humanity. Virgo and Aquarius, the two humans in the chart, and Virgo, the Virgin Mary, Virgo the Virgin, is and Christ was born on September 11th. So there's that whole connection with the Virgo energy, and I think Mary was the 8th or 9th, but that energy of service to humanity. And you having it conjunct the moon in the 12th house allows you to really see the collective.
Yes.
And get these visions, Uranus, the god of the sky, visions from God's source energy to help people transmute and transform their pain and traumas.
Yeah.
So,
that's exactly what I do.
And then the moon is that's what's so great, because the moon is the emotional mind, but it's the physical body. It's your mother, but it's also your family you created, your body, your health, and your internal response, reaction, and intuition mind. So explain to people, like if someone, wanted to come to you and say, listen, I've been dealing with this trauma that I've had. I was, parents, abused me, or I was sexually assaulted and abused as a young boy, young girl. How do people connect with you in that sense? And then what's the path that you take them through?
Well, how I connect is because I walked it also. So I've been very open to my divinity from heaven. I've had trouble adjusting to my humanity. So it was a very different way of working with my emotional body, because I had such a knee-jerk reaction against humanity, against myself. And I didn't like it. I wasn't comfortable. People were very abusive to me. I didn't belong here. I mean, it's just all that fight, right? But going through the emotional transmutation, the path that was taught to me, helped me actually accept in my dark teachers, let's say of bitterness, and accept the lesson it was bringing to me and feel it, right? And then I would step back and Father would ask me a question, what did it teach you? So I journaled it out. And then he taught me the art of transmutation, where you take a dark one and you flip it over to light, because we all are searching for wholeness. And we all want that light back in our body, and we want to rise, and the shift is happening. And so when we accept the light teacher through the dark, it's amazing what happens. And then I was taught to create an image for that teacher of bitterness, let's say. And what was very fascinating is the healing, the acceptance I had for my path, for all of the people that abused me, for all of the crap I went through, and all of the dark toys that I had the privilege of playing with. So I had to work with my free will to lay things down, to let go of judgments, because, I was hurt. I was abused, raped. I've lost children. I mean, I've been through it all. And yeah, I could be pissy and angry, but when you start accepting the pearls of wisdom that holy teacher and experience brought you, you start to go, money can't buy this. So I'm going to bless the teacher of bitterness, and I'm going to enjoy the transmutation of, let's say, joy with it. So my book is all about 40 dark emotions, flipping them to 40 light ones. So it's very labor intensive. And I do healing sessions in person, remote, where I can clean out the body energetically through my shamanic surgery gifts, right? And that works for people. But if you're really searching for a really deep clean, like a car wash, detailed, 40 times, okay? We're talking about getting this stuck energy all the way out of your body, not just rising it up to play with it and tinker around and go, ooh, that hurt. I'm talking about getting it out of your body. And that's why I say resurrection, because we're taking the dead places that we wanted to cut off from ourselves and bury and hide. We've got to assemble those pieces back and love it back to light. And it is a process. And that's what
And
I teach.
that
Yeah.
is so beautiful. It's so true. And it makes me think about, because as I work with my clients,
Mhm.
I deal with that with the Chiron moon and the Lilith and the Pluto and the 12th
Yes.
house and South Node, because
Mhm.
we have got to really heal those inner childhood traumas and
We do.
wounds.
Yeah.
And you're
Mhm.
right, it's not enough to identify. Then you've got to do the real work so you can purge and detox and
Yes.
surrender and transmute
Mhm.
them, so
Mhm.
that you could wave goodbye and they're really gone.
Yeah, truly gone. I mean, all the way. I am not the same. I have merged my divinity with my humanity, and I am at one with myself and with Father and Mother God, and I'm in perfect alignment with my missionary work here to help the collective in the shift back to light. We're going all the way up, and there's so much to learn and so much to do. And it's like, how do you unlock these gifts? And what's really beautiful is that Father taught me that we only can carry so much light level in our body, right? Because we've got death codes and all of that. But as we release these dark blankets off of us, blocking the light, more light comes in. And guess what? Your light level goes up and your gifts start to open. Now, we
Right.
all can play with our spiritual gifts, but I'm talking about opening it up to fullness. And we are not there yet. We are on our way. So, this unlocks all of it so that you can hold more light, more light. Mhm.
Well, let's go to the chat, because I see a
Okay.
lot of comments. People have
Okay.
questions. You could start any
Okay.
place. And
Okay. Yeah, the one gal said that her light too was dimmed. And yes, we are dimmed automatically when we come here. That's part of the trauma that we have to go through, especially in this incarnation for the shift. So accepting that okay, we had to be dialed down because we made it. We're here now. And now we can light up all the way. And before it wasn't safe. It always got us kicked off the planet, all of that. But here we're able to light up all the way and stay. So let's see. Do you have memories of past life? Yes, I have my memories of my past lives. Yes, there was a lot. Let's see. This is heartbreaking. You just said you learned to keep your mouth shut. We taught so young to dim our lights and forget our connection. Absolutely.
no,
Because
it is sad, yeah, because
it is.
it's also
Yep.
survival when you are here fully awakened. And I
Oh.
really visualize you as the little girl, because seeing the Scorpio Neptune, and I have that generational marker. Mine's on the ascendant, and
Mhm.
it's almost like walking with like a little guardian angel, which was
Yes.
kind of
Mhm.
like, your earth father, but just
Yes.
even your spirit guides and God
Yep.
itself, but kind
Yes.
of like taking you through this. Because what happens with Scorpio and Neptune, just to like explain it, it's like, and I wonder if this would probably correlate to what you experienced, but it's almost like you can energetically and magnetically like see people in the spiritual realm. And
Yes, I see you in your true form. I
yeah,
see who you are, your angel being, your light body. So I had to be trained that everyone's kind of wearing masks here called our earth suit, our school uniform, because I could see your name and I could see who you were. And I didn't
yeah, that's so
understand.
wild.
I
See,
know.
'cause
And I didn't. I didn't understand why people didn't recognize me, or why they didn't. I'd call them by their heavenly name, and they'd look at me like, "What are you doing, little girl?" You know.
Oh my
It,
God.
mhm,
That's amazing. That's wild to me. Because wait,
it
because I'm
is.
gonna tell you. So for me, my Neptune's on the ascendant in Scorpio, and so I have never been able to see that type of stuff. What I see is when I meet someone, I
Mhm.
see their kind of almost like their heart and soul spiritually. So I can see if someone has good or bad intentions, or if someone's like more on the, like you
Mhm.
say, playing with the dark toys, or they're more like pure soul spirit. So for
Mhm.
me, being someone who's more of an extrovert and very social, it also makes me introverted because I could see their, the BS they were spitting or kick or, sharing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's challenging, in the sense that you Scorpio risings were not always so trusting anyway, and you have that with the Cancer Sun, but it's very interesting when you are kind of like, for you, with it being in the second house, that's where you
Mhm.
have that sixth sense. Did you
Mm.
find that it gave you an extra? I know this may be redundant because you were already born awakened, but did
Yeah.
it give you a deeper intuition? Is that like a way
Well,
to?
well,
Or,
so you could say I'm a full-blown seer. Okay. So the deficit of being a seer is that I didn't know how to feel into energy.
ah,
Okay. So I was taken advantage of a lot, and I couldn't quite discern a lie from a truth, because I I I just believed everything what people said, because everything that comes out of the mouth of Father is true. He can't lie. So learning
Oh, so you
here,
had to learn that the Earthlings. Yes. Okay.
right? Yes, and I didn't. I was so messed up. It's like my picker was broken, my lie detector was broke, because I just believed. See, and the other thing that was very difficult for me is at night, the angels would come in and take me home to heaven. So for the first 13 years of my life, I did not really experience nighttime. So I get to go play in heaven with the animals and Yah Yeshua Jesus. He is my master teacher. And they would give me ancient books in languages and codes and all kinds of things. And I would read them, right? And it was locked in me because I couldn't interpret it yet. But that's what I did. I went to school there. And then as the sun rose, the angels would bring me back. And then I have to get up and go to Earth school with the little kids that were so bratty and mean. And so I was really like not confused on where I was at, but I didn't understand
But
that.
that is the
Why?
Neptune. So this is, you guys see, and this is why it's so deep, because that really explains. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody that's a Libra rising, or has Scorpio in the second house, with Neptune. But what it, two key words you said. One, the second house is like our family, it's values, material items, money, how we can earn money, but survival, five senses, food, and speech. So we've talked off air, and you do happen to like seafood. That can happen with
Yes.
Scorpio there, or
Yeah.
Cancer or Pisces, right? But
Mhm.
you said a key word before. You said you didn't you were not able or not ready to understand or see the deception, and that
Yeah. I was. Yeah,
deception.
I was like, so with all these gifts, I wasn't clear. So my dad's murder, I came to the age of accountability, and it just shattered everything. I knew exactly where I was. I
Yeah.
was not in heaven. I was here. And it scared me so bad because I was left all by myself, and I didn't want to be here anymore. And it was
We
awful.
have that in common. My father was murdered and shot when I was 6.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you don't even get to say goodbye. I mean,
no, I don't even remember that morning. I don't remember
Oh,
my last conversation with him. So that's,
well, Father's grace was really big on me because he was giving me dreams. So if I dreamt things three times in a row, it was going to happen. So I had prep dreams on that one. The third time it happened, I'm like, please don't let the police come to my door. I want to be at my mom's because, I went back and forth. They were divorced.
So you're saying in your dreams you fully saw your father being murdered?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So I was prepared, but it's like, whoa.
Well, you could never really be prepared.
No, but I mean, it was coming. It was going to be violent, bloody,
you.
and I'm so glad I had that preparation, because what I wasn't prepared for is that my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle, so his mom, dad, and brother went into our home and took everything, my cats, my dolls, my car collection, my clothes, everything. They took it all. So not only did I lose my guardian, I lost everything. It was stripped away. And it had to be like that I understand, to break the illusion to let me know you're in a temporary place. I mean, it had to be that severe. I get it. I didn't understand it at the time, but I do. It couldn't have happened any other way, because I didn't know where I was, and
Wow.
But,
Marie.
yeah.
Okay,
I
let's go back
know.
to the chat. I think you definitely have some more questions.
Yay! Okay, let's see here.
That's heavy.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me go up to the top here. I think it was from a different realm. Okay, this is from Sibali, Pure Face and Body. I think I met someone from a different realm. It was a very deep experience when he told me his name. It was more like what I would call sounds, not like words. Yep. How'd you go? Your God language. Yeah, light language. It sounds like this. Beazot, ano, beakanesot, kitomasom. Sounds like that. Everyone has names. So I know my name on the other side. My name is Reina Sophia Enso. That is my heavenly name. So when y'all are
Reina Sophia, what?
Enso.
Enso?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It means from the limitless light. Yes. Enso, that's what that means.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So everyone has a name.
Wait. So let's do that. So can you tap in and tell me what my heavenly name is?
I'd have to open my light a lot bigger to be able to do that. Okay. Yes, I didn't open it up very big for this because I have to, I'm talking
No, I
to
get it.
everybody.
That's okay.
Yes, but yes, I can go in there and look. But sometimes when I'm reading people and things like that, sometimes you're not ready to hear it. Other times people are just so curious, but there's other things that you need to do to prepare for that, because it's a very high vibration. So I'm always guided. I'm a great secret keeper. We have that little dent right here. So it's like, shh. So Father trusts me with a lot of stuff. But I always ask. That way I'm not overstepping people. I'm not giving out information that I shouldn't. Right. And sometimes I'm shown things of people, and Father teaches me, like, look at this person, and he'll roll the film and he'll teach me privately, but I'm not supposed to say anything. Right. So I always ask, am I supposed to share that? Or, but I'm constantly being taught and trained, just like us all. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah. Wow. You are a living high priestess. Yes, I am. Yes. I represent the divine feminine. Yes. And let's see, is that how you would classify? Oops. I know I'm connected, but sometimes I feel overwhelmed. My mind plays games of insecurity. Yeah, when you are working with transmuting your emotions and everything, I'll give you a quick little prayer that Father taught me with your ego. And what you do, it's a command. It's ego. Stand down, step aside, and be filled with light. So your ego is like a little AI program that's meant to help you go deep in the matrix for your evil and good experiences, because we're all here because we asked for the expansion of evil. That's what comes first. And that's why our dark teachers are so very important. And when you're working with your ego, imagine it like a candle, and let's say it's black. And how many drips of wax would it have taken to do a 6-inch candle? A lot. So every time you give that command, ego, stand down, step aside, and be filled with light, imagine that you're giving a little drop of white wax, one drop in it. So the whole idea is to take that ego, so to speak, the candle, and change it all the way to white. So my little ego is like a little white fluffy puppy now. It's very quiet and it just sits at my side. And if I start veering off to like a dark energy or emotion, or, I want to get upset about something, it just taps me. But my ego doesn't talk anymore. It's very surrendered because it's my resurrection buddy now. So we have to tame it. Mm-hmm.
No, that's just so deep and so beautiful, and that
Oh,
really
yeah.
speaks to the surrender. And
It does.
look at Pluto as the soul psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and learning how to really transform and transmute not just the pain, traumas, and crises from this incarnation, but
All
it's
of it.
what's carried in the soul.
Yes. And see, the beautiful thing is through your past lives, it keeps carrying forward. So it's not that we have to go back in the past to fix it. It's all right here. This
Right.
is where we have to transmute it. And what
Exactly.
you're doing is you're cleaning not only this incarnation, but all the way back, because we're being called back to the garden. It's moving in. So we're the ones that have to shift and adjust with the light.
So let me ask you, for us, the souls that have chosen to be born at this time and
Yes.
live through what we lived through the
Oh,
last
yeah.
3 years,
You're special.
do you feel, I know, right? Do you
Yeah.
feel for those who are awakening at this time too? Um, do you feel that a lot of people are not only ascending to the 5D, but also here to break generational curses?
Yes, that's automatic because the matrix is breaking. Let,
Yeah.
let me explain it this way.
Yeah.
This is Earth School, right?
Yeah.
Of evil and good. And this is the cycle where school is closing. And the graduates that are ready to graduate off the karma wheel need to do their inner work.
Yeah.
And what Father showed me is that when you go to the other side and sit down with your little life review, guess what you're doing? The same thing with your emotions. Okay, with bitterness, how many pearls did you gather? And if you only gathered 12 and you were supposed to gather 22, guess what? That goes right back on your soul contract to do again. So once you're on the other side, you can't do anything about it. You've got to come back in and get all your pearls to pass the class. So for that to be given here right now, we get to work on it like together. So it's kind of like, I don't worry about someone that is not interested in light or doesn't want to help themselves, because they may be in the 3rd grade. And so as a 12th grader, I'm not really concerned about a 3rd grader. I just know that they need more time in school. They'll get it eventually, right? And, you got 8th graders, 9th graders, and we're all in this holy pot together here. So we don't always know what grade we're in our spiritual levels of soul advancement. So
Right.
I really do bless people's walk, and those that are ready will want to, from the inside, want to clean out and clear the karma so that you can graduate out of Earth School and go on to do other creative things, like maybe get your own experimental planet. And oh my gosh, it's just going to be endless. But, to wait for these people to work it out, look, we got all eternity, but they will be moved to another Earth School. Well, not Earth, but another school of higher learning. They've got to move because the school is closing. And we're the ones that get to ride it all the way up back to light. And as it increases, we've got to be able to hold more light.
So,
and that's mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to ask, this is a little deeper.
Oh, goody.
Now we got to get back to the chat because there's
Oh, yeah. I know everyone's typing.
Well, wait, but I got to ask you this because this is kind of heavy. So what about when you are seeing or God's revealing to you the power structure? So, sort of the dark workers behind the scenes, doing things that are trying to hurt the collective.
Yes.
Some of the leaders of the world, whether it's this country, Russia, China, people killing innocent children, sex trafficking, all this stuff.
I know.
What do you get seen about that, and how does God tell you how he deals with them?
Well, they are performing a function of evil to help us have those evil experiences. I had to really come to terms with that,
Right.
because once I finished my book, I'm like, all these beings of darkness, thank you for helping me come back to the light. So they are being exposed, but I don't judge them, because for those that are still playing for dark toys and playing with evil and all of that, they serve a function with them. And that's their business on their vibration. But I do know they won't be able to stay on the planet, and they're not going to get rewards of the crown of life and off the karma wheel. So they are going to have to go back into the next cycle, which is over 26,000 years, by the way. And so I understand, but I don't get drugged into the evil of it, because here everything's allowed. And my job is to hold the vibration, right? Like us all, and be those holy pillars of light. So I'm going to teach you a prayer. I want to give something else to you all. And this is a grounding prayer that Father gave me, and it's so necessary. So it's 3 parts. So it goes, I take my root chakra, I burrow it down into Mother Earth, down to her core crystal, and I wrap my root chakra around that, and then cleansing breath. And then I take my crown chakra and I lasso it up into Father's throne room and wrap around his chair, cleansing breath. And the declaration, I take my sovereign stance upon this planet as a pillar of light. And you take a breath, cleansing breath. And let me tell you, when I ground like that every morning, it's amazing. You can ride the surf of the energies and the Schumann resonance and the solar flares just fine. But that's very vital. So taking your sovereign stand as a being of light and opening up your gifts and being that holy pillar of light, and just hold it. Just hold it. And it's like lifting this beautiful canopy, because Father is moving in, and I'm so excited about that. And death is dying, and the demons are screaming, and fear is.
Well, that's why they're acting so crazy now. They know their time is up. They know their time is up, and so
absolutely. There's no doubt.
And I'm so glad you said that, because that's why I tell people, fear nothing. Don't even waste your time with fear. It's not worth it, And
it's so scary here. It really is scary.
Well, because when you are caught up in the world, and I think one thing that really helped me was just turning off the television, and the brainwashing and the constant programming. And when you kind of free yourself from the matrix in that sense, and don't get in the media wheel of the, oh my God, fear this, fear that, like, if you just have like exactly. And it's just constant barrage. And, what that does, it affects so much the sympathetic nervous system, the subconscious mind, your heart, your chakras. Like it's nothing but, I guess, evil, but just drama to throw you off from the connection to God consciousness, and to really commune with God. So I definitely want to get back to the chat, but I want to ask you this. So do you, this is kind of heavy, because
I like heavy. Go deep.
Well, no, so I in 2021, I had almost died because I had a mixture of valley fever and Delta of the COVID. And I was in the hospital 85 days, 40 days, and 40 nights in a coma. And But one thing that was really powerful because, I wasn't aware. I was asleep. But while I was asleep in a coma, my mother had passed away. But when I was transferred from Scottsdale Shade to St. Joseph's Hospital in Phoenix, the first night, a couple of nurses, but one nurse, a female nurse, later when she saw me, she was like in shock because she was like, I was there the first night. And she goes, I prayed for you. I didn't think you were going to make it. You were like not here. And I was like, thank you. Because they sent me there October 10th. And then I woke up October 13th. And I, got in the hospital August 29th. And I fell into a coma September 6th. But then the other, a male nurse, he had told my wife, he said, when he walked into the room, he said, it was just so powerful because he felt the presence of an angel over me, over my bed. Yeah. And then my wife said, well, his mother passed away. And
you know who it was?
And he said, yeah, it must have been his mother.
Well, Raphael was with you. Mm-hmm.
Raphael.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's deep.
Very special. Yeah.
Because because in all intents, I guess in intents and purposes, I wasn't supposed to be here. With what they were giving me and all this stuff.
You could also flip it over.
Well, right. No, I don't believe that. Exactly.
Yeah. But we are attacked by darkness, by low vibrations because of our light and because of the gifts that we carry.
Exactly.
So that was an attack on you. And you're still here. Yeah. So it's wonderful. You're so awesome. I just love you. I'm so glad I met you.
It's a blessing. And I will tell you too, I've always, had a connection to God and Jesus. And but when I was dealing with the torment and the dark night of the soul and dealing with pure evil, and it was spiritual warfare. I called, and I specifically called on God and Jesus, and that's what got me out. And I remember it like it was, it's right here, right now. And it was very specific, and it was just beautiful. And
we are children of light, and we have eternal parents, and they love us so much. And I am just so honored to be able to carry this torch, and to help. I mean, I've been waiting. Look, I just turned 58 and I've been waiting. I've only been doing my shaman surgery for like 5.5 years. And, I had to do my book first and all of that. So my whole life has been preparation.
Leading up to this moment. So
and now it's go time.
Well, let's take some more questions. And then I want you to give us a little window into the work with the shaman surgery in terms of what you do with someone.
Oh yes, that's like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
Let's get some more questions first because there's a lot here.
Yeah.
I told you my audience, they you guys, I always like to bring you guys something special.
Oh, this is just fabulous. Yeah. Steven says, I agree. Love that you don't abuse your power. Yeah, I never was allowed to. I'm very honorable with it. I'm very careful. I don't play with it. It's just such a sacred gift, Steven's
amazing. Steven does astrology, and he's an amazing tarot reader and just a very pure spirit.
Yeah, and Symboli, yes, I work with someone like you. So, of course, that's what I'm doing. So I have my book, Resurrection Journey of the Christed Bride. And you could actually watch it. It's an audio visual book or get the hard copy. And then because it's really important for you to see how I did it, right? I'm just not trying to teach you something. I lived it. So I'm living examples. So read my story, listen to it. And then this is Resurrection Journey, my invitation. So you are then invited to go deep into your own, which mirrors my book. And it's got 4 questions and a scroll that you get to design a picture that you get to choose that describes, let's say, bitterness. We're doing a workshop. I just filmed 40 Days of Transmutation. So the first couple of episodes are going to be up, but so you can get the
Well,
workbook
give
and
them.
then
We'll do it twice, but give them some
okay,
of your information now. It's in the
okay,
description, and then at the end we'll give it again. But just let them
okay.
know where they
Yeah.
can find out
See
about
that?
your audiobook and the book itself and the workbook.
Yeah, you just go to christedbride.com and it'll be right there on the front page. You can go a little bit deeper on the workshop, online courses. So I taught it took me 5 months to teach 40, and I take an hour, and you get to rent it for 3 days. So I take you with each step and help you do breath work with that. And then I'm also looking for local groups for me to come in and start sitting down one-on-one or maybe in groups of 2 or 3, and let's roll up our sleeves and let's get going on this, because it's never easy to do this by yourself at all. I mean, I didn't have human help, and look, it took me 10 years, and we don't have 10 years. We've got to get going now.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping, I've got some graduates, some people that are already finishing their book, but it's about a year commitment into yourself. It's not an easy thing, but to get off the karma wheel, holler, right? Let's do the work. And I want to be available to you. You can reach out and email me questions at christedbride@gmail.com. And I'm out visible now. I'm out. You can touch me, talk to me, and work with me. And that's what is so exciting, because I've been hidden. I've been Father's really quiet little secret.
Well, yeah, because you're that moon, the Virgo moon, was in the 12th house, and that's the hidden talent.
Yeah,
Virgo,
I've been hidden all my
the
life.
service. And so
Yes.
now you're coming out and you're sharing these powerful gifts, and the collective needs it. And that's what I
I've been
teach.
so scared. Yeah, I've been really afraid, because my light levels are so high. I mean, sometimes when I blow breaths of light on people, they'll throw up, they'll fall over. It's very strong. So the people that live really close to me, they're pretty cleaned out, because my light affects everything. It disturbs darkness, and that's my job, right? Just stir that slowly.
That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. I think it speaks to your integrity that you've never abused or used your gifts for your own gain. Yeah, it's been very difficult to actually sell this, because I've had to have a talk with Father about it. And what he explained is you got to sow your energy in and invest in yourself. And when he explained it like that, I understood that we have a fair price on everything, but it's not for my financial gain. I'm fine. It's for you to sow your seed. So in the 5 years of my shamanic surgery, 5.5, what I just did it graciously, just gave. And if they wanted to donate, okay. But after a couple of years, what I noticed is the people that integrated the most from their healing, could lock it in, could hold it, and advance forward in light, are the ones that sowed.
Well, because listen, because I want people to understand, right?
Yeah.
Just because people have spiritual gifts or have gone through these traumas and then healed and done the hard work, it doesn't mean that they should not be compensated for guiding others through the path. If anything,
exactly,
highly compensated. You know what I mean? And that, but I know it's hard as a healer and as a light worker and even as a professional astrologer and relationship coach and really helping to guide people. Sometimes, and I know for me, you got a Virgo moon, I got the Virgo stellium and sun and Mars and Mercury. It's very hard because I am here. That's why my podcast is called Knowledge is Love. I'm not trying to hide anything from anybody. If I know something, it's my job from love to share it with the collective.
Exactly.
People who hoard knowledge, you shouldn't trust them. You know what I mean? Knowledge bearers are not to hold on to it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to just buy you fish. I'm going to teach you how to fish, that old adage. But
Exactly.
so true, because
Mhm.
it is like I answer to a higher power. You know what I mean? I'm not here to come back. I'm here to stay with God in heaven. So that
Yep.
means I've got to conduct
Mhm.
myself above reproach. And
Yes.
by no means, I am far
Mhm.
from a perfect human. You know what I mean? And I know you would say the same, but it's the
Absolutely.
intention. My heart is pure. I have no ill
Mhm.
will and never have. Honestly, when I think about it, my entire life, I've
Yeah.
never,
I've always loved
ill will
people. I've always
human.
forgiven really fast and all of that. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's very interesting when we do this walk because sometimes we forget that there are kings and priest anointings. And the kings are anointed to go out into the marketplace or the matrix and make money. And they were supposed to bring in their tithe to gift to the priesthood. And in today's society, I mean, look at the churches. They just want to buy cars and fancy. They're not really doing
Oh,
what there's, you know what
please.
I mean? We won't
Yeah.
even go there.
And
But
that breaks my
Mhm.
heart, because I always
Mhm.
say this to people: don't you ever play games with God.
Oh,
Don't you?
I know. I know. You watch what's going to start happening. But what I'm saying is that so if you're gifted in a kingly anointing to go make money, then that purpose is to support the priesthood of teachers. And my bloodline, I've got Levi in me, and they were the priests, and they weren't even allowed to own property. So then, I've maybe owned 2 houses in all of my life. I mean, I'm a priestess, and that one person caught it right away. But it's we're to be supported by you, and in today's world, it's just kind of all mixed up and jumbled up. But Father does pay and reward his servants, and I'm compensated very well. Father brings things into me all the time. It's just amazing, gifts or whatever. I mean, whatever. I just say, Daddy, I like a new earring. And then it comes. But it's just interesting. But I'm about my Father's business. And I'm so privileged to have purified and done my work. And I've never been in a hurry to go out and do this. I mean, I was trained as a nurse, as a funeral advocate. I mean, I have had deep matrix jobs. And, I've been a mortgage broker, a single mom. I mean, I've been so trained. And then I was pulled back for about 6 years to do nothing but this, my work. And the money came in every month. I don't even know how, because I wasn't doing my
What sign was your ex-husband?
Gemini.
Okay.
He was a naughty Gemini, by the way, but a sacred teacher. Yes, I have a double master's degree in covert narcissism. Yay!
Oh
Yeah,
my God, I love
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. I always tell him, thank you, darling X. I am so thankful for everything that you did. But that doesn't mean I want to live with you and be your wife and all that. No, no, no. I've passed my test. Yay.
I love it
Yeah.
when you said a double narcissist. I love it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
All
a
right. So,
doctorate degree. It was 8 years. Yeah, it's like going through medical school. Woo.
okay,
Anyway,
take some more questions. You got a lot
okay.
of.
Okay, let's see.
I love
Yeah, life is real. I love my humanity. Oh, thank you for saving that, Eric. Yeah, I felt the same way. I'm 43 and it's go time. I get it. I believe that is why we are here. Yes, Stephen.
it. Is.
Rose Jefferson, blessings. Aw. Yeah, any questions that y'all have, just throw it out. I like to play baseball. Just batter up. Let me have them.
And it's funny that they were saying that, because I always say that two things that I always say. Spiritual homework,
Yes.
and it's go time, because I honestly feel, because I've done the work myself, and I took the time in isolation and through introspection,
Yes. Yeah.
and to soul search, to purge, release. And I remember one night at Times Square Church in Midtown Manhattan, going to an altar call and literally crying for about 35 minutes. I mean, like snot out the nose, because I had to forgive my father being murdered. And I didn't even realize that I was holding on to that.
Exactly. See, I judged my dad for making his free will decision to put him in the place where he got taken out.
Yeah. And that's so deep, right? Because you make you realize that wasn't a conscious Eric decision. That's what was in my subconscious mind as a child. And
Absolutely.
I share with you guys, when you guys are my clients, we have got to clean out and heal and purge the subconscious mind, because as you're living throughout your day, your conscious mind, you're basically on autopilot. You're only conscious anywhere from 5 to 15% of the time. Everything is rote memory in a subconscious mind. So if you haven't healed it, you may not even be living your life intentionally the way you truly desire. So you gotta do the work. You gotta get in there and do. You're right, the surgery on yourself, and that's what I did.
Yes, because when the first question is when did you first experience this? Okay, let's take bitterness. It's not, you feel the energy of the bitterness throughout your life, and then you're tracing it back where it first happened. And that's where Father taught me the shamanic surgery, the energy tracing was with that, because we've got to be able to find those deep places within us.
No, and it's powerful. And see, and you guys, this is why I have the Chiron wound service. This is why I have I have this one service where I take people through their soul journey and past life, looking at Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, North and South Node, and created different things, because you can look at it in a birth chart reading, but when you get into specific services, you can really narrow in and just focus on certain energies that are really energetically blocking you,
Exactly. Let me tell you how powerful this is. As children, we're not taught to deal with our emotions, right? It's just a hodgepodge. And look at our parents are passing down their knowledge, and it's not always good. But this is how powerful. When sadness comes knocking at my door, I go, "Hey girl, what you doing?" Not today. Pass me by. Right? And then there are times where I need a little help getting some stuck energy out. And it's like, "Girl, sadness, come over here and give me a hug because I need some help." And I'll just embrace her for a while. Maybe I'll lay down with it and cry for a couple hours. And then it's like, "Okay, I think I feel good now. Sadness, thank you. Mwah. See you next time." Right?
I release you. And you cut the cord. I release you.
Yep. So you have all these emotional experiences coming to you to give you pearls of wisdom. But once you transmute your life from today back, now you get to have choices. It's like you come out of that autopilot, you get the helm of your temple, and you've got a beautiful emotional body, you've got a mental body, you're taking care of your ego, and you're nourishing your spirit, your physical temple, because it's filling up with light, and you get to drive it better. So this puts you in the driver's seat, because we're all very powerful co-creators, but we don't understand all of our equipment quite yet. And in order to get down to the true helm of it, you've got to purge out the stuff and the judgments and all of that. And we take it one holy emotion at a time. And there's not a hurry to do this, but when doing this deep inner work, that car wash on the inside, you need to commit a good year, because there's 40. I don't know if you could even do one a week, maybe one every other week, or maybe 1.5, because just touching into the first experience, it's so deep. You're journaling, you're crying. I threw up a couple of times when I was doing mine, and I had to step away for a day and then come back and go,
you got to take breaks. You got
to take breaks. And there's 4 questions and a drawing for your inner child. So it's going to take you a couple of days to do this, maybe even a week, just to do one, just to get down to the root. And once it's out, it's gone. It's awesome. All right, let's see any questions here. Let's see. My mother always told me not to worry. Karma will get them. Yep. Yeah, karma's a great teacher. I like to stick up for people, Jennifer says, and help who I can. But when it comes to me, I'm not bothered what people say or think. I just move on. Yeah, that's good. Miss, I was washing my hair. Oh, I just got home. Let's see. Hi, Eric. Yeah. Let's talk about the shamanic surgery, because that is just splendid. So when I open up my light in my body, it takes me about an hour and a half, and it blows wide open. And I see in the body, like in the movie Iron Man, Jarvis, that computer right in the middle of the room, and they can manipulate it. That's exactly what I do. They are spot on. And so I can blow a breath of light into your body. And let's say I would just want to focus on your nervous system, and I can blow everything away and just see your nervous system. So I can specifically work on that. Same thing with your bones, your muscles, whatever. And a lot of times, I'm cleaning chakras, and then I go in through the chakra down into the organ. So I do adjustments, of course, cord cleaning, cutting things. But a lot of times, especially if they haven't done their inner work like this, we'll come to a cord, and it's so solidified and hard, I can't quite move it. So right then and there, we start doing the work, because I can see what the vibration is of that experience. I could trace it right to that person. And we've got to deal with that, because if you don't deal with all the reasons why and the benefits, why you had that experience, you're just going to keep repeating the trauma, the attachments.
Well, and traumas get replayed in our subconscious mind, like with the fight or flight. And tell them how important forgiveness is, because I always tell my clients, forgiveness is also a gift to yourself.
Yeah, I forgive them because they were my holy teacher, and I'm going to step aside and let karma and Father spank them. That's what I do. Yeah, I don't have to enforce anything. It's just be love. And
right, but I'm saying you don't want to hold on to those feelings of the anger and the pain and the hurt and whatever. You really have to purely forgive.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
and those
forgive every aspect. Yes, and forgive every aspect. But it's hard to start going into the forgiveness when you don't really understand the higher purpose of that experience. Because, we're under it going, oh, there was trauma and I was beat and all this, which is true. But first off, our light has to be dimmed coming here automatically. And we go super dark. And especially this incarnation. Especially this, because we come in super duper bright, and now it's safe to clean out and light up. I mean, I can't hold anything in me. I start to get gaggy, because it wants to come out of my body, because my light levels on my body are so high that I can't really play with the dark toys. Not even the thoughts of them.
So what happens when somebody cuts you off in traffic? What do you do?
I bless them. And send them some extra angels so they don't get in trouble. Yeah. I bless you. Sometimes I have to yell it.
I know we've already established your integrity and the purity, but let me ask you this. Has there ever been a time where you oh, I'd surely like to get into those lottery numbers to win the lottery?
I've tried.
Or let's say you're wow, I'm really attracted to that man. I'd like to see if I can send him my way.
That one. Ooh, Father, you made him good. Oh, yes.
So
not the lottery. I have asked Father for numbers. I did get a sequence of numbers a long time ago, but I haven't heard if I'm to play it or not, but I don't, it's like I already have ATM keys to heaven. So if I ask Daddy, I need $100, it comes. So I don't really
Right.
have to like give.
No, and believe me, I was
give.
obviously more, joking because I think it is kind of like funny, but people do
No,
get
I'm
curious.
serious.
Yeah.
I really do have numbers, but I play them on my own without asking, and they've been tucked away for over 10 years. So I don't know, just whatever.
So if someone asked you, how could they identify or understand who their spirit guides are or their guardian angels, what insight or advice would you give them?
Well, it's for me, okay, because I walk so tight with Father. I can walk back and forth into heaven anytime I want. It's all about relationship. So when people are really extra focused on their angels, those angels are their brothers and sisters trying to help them out. But the bigger picture is to have a relationship with daddy and mom. So it just depends where people are at. I came in with 38 angels. All right. I see them all the time. When I open my light, they come shoulder to shoulder and protect the space. And 5 of them will step forward and help me and guide me in the surgery.
Mm.
I don't need to know their name. I don't, because I don't want to be distracted. I command my angels to do things for me. Like,
Okay.
I need you to go protect this person. Come on in. I need 5 more extra because I'm going to be doing this today. So I don't go, hey, Bob, Sally, and Joe
Right,
Biden.
right. No, no, definitely.
I don't do that.
No, you
But
know what it is? I think because
Mhm.
I've heard this question before and people are curious, and sometimes, and I don't know in terms of your experience, what God has revealed to you on this, but like, in terms of us honoring our ancestors,
Oh, absolutely.
what happens, like, with our ancestors and them watching over us, what is that like, like,
Well,
can you see
some
your dad?
do.
Like,
My dad's already back incarnate, so I
he's
know where
already
he
what?
is. He's already come back in.
Okay.
He's already incarnate again, so he's
Oh,
not
okay.
there. His higher self is there,
Okay.
okay, but I know where he physically is. He's just a child right now, so
Wow.
he got a do over. It's kind of like woo woo, but well, how can I put it? We are a lot of our own ancestors. Number one.
Yeah.
And when someone's really diving into angels and seeking, what that tells me is that they're really seeking themselves.
Yeah.
We are the first angel that we are seeking. And same thing with looking for a soulmate. We're usually looking for the other half and neglecting who we are. So I came in feminine. My feminine energy is right here, but my male, he has to step back. But I've brought him forward and I've married the 2. That's called the Heroes Gammas wedding. It's the sacred wedding. So as within, so without. So my male and female have married. And then as above, so below. My humanity and my divinity have married. So it's like a double locking. So the oneness has really happened because I'm not seeking anymore. I found myself. So
Wow.
now it's about, he looks pretty fine. Do I want to have that experience? No or yes. It's about experiences now. What do I want to gather from that relationship? It doesn't mean don't do it. It's I'm more conscious that, well, I'm about my Father's business and I'm not really interested right now, because I've had all these experiences.
Right.
And I don't really need any more. I got all the growth out of it and I'm at one with myself. So I don't need someone else, another physical being to complete me. I'm already complete in my own. Now, does that mean I don't want to share? I do want to share.
Yeah.
I want to share light and everything.
Yeah.
But to have someone that's done their inner work
Yeah.
and be at my level, well, it's just Yeshua. That's why I had to marry him.
So
But,
you said a mouthful there with all that, and it makes me smile and laugh. So
yay!
that's one of the reasons why my hip hop name, my MC name is E Complete.
Oh,
And
yes.
you know what I mean? And so
Yes.
it's very connected and related to that in
Mhm.
terms of being complete in self and having the not just the desire, but the knowledge to complete things and thought and in
Yes.
energy and spiritually. But what about so what I've always found fascinating is kind of like energetically and spiritually, I see different things with the energies of the planets. And
Yes.
right now, with
Mhm.
Saturn and Pisces, I mention this to my audience all the time how important it is to have some sort of spiritual practice, right? We've got the solar flares.
Yes.
The planet is ascending from 3D to 5D, the energy,
Mhm.
the Schumann resonance, all this stuff. And so just speak to how important it is for people to take time for their breath work, yoga, meditation, toning
Yes.
to raise
Yes.
their
All of
vibrational
it.
frequency.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you want to think of it as spiritual hygiene.
yeah.
So, a couple of
Thank
things that I do always. I always take a bath in Epsom salt. I've done that for, wow, almost 10 years now straight.
you.
I don't put dead things in my body because I'm all about life, but I do love the little fishies once in a while. I'm still working on that. But I do my grounding every time I come back in my body. So, when you sleep, you leave, or if you take a
Yeah.
nap, right? So, every time I wake up and come back in my body, I do my quick grounding prayer. And I ask myself, what do I want to experience today?
Mm.
And Father, what do you have for me? Because I can stay in the now moment. My practice is I just stay in the present moment. And this is where I create from because I'm a pillar of light now. So when I create, I'm creating with light, not duality, good and evil. There's no mixture.
Mm.
So I stay in the present moment, and my mind is so quiet that I can have no thought from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep. And that's how specific and trained I am, especially when I do healing sessions, because they're like 2 and 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours long in person or remote. And I have to stay so single minded right there. So I've been trained for a really, really long time. So I
So
just,
give us an
Mhm.
example of that when you said that. So let's say I wanted to book a session of
Oh, okay.
shamanic surgery with you. How
Yes.
much do you charge and how long is a session?
Well, it's a suggested donation that you get to pick, but you need to donate something, whether it's $1 or 1,000 or 200. My average is about 150 of the donations. That's the average what people give me. But I don't tell you how much, just that you need to sow. And then you can't eat meat 24 hours before, otherwise you'll throw up because we want to separate the animal trauma from you.
Yeah.
And you can't wear shoes. You want to be in comfortable clothing. You need to have a little spit up bucket
And
with
do you do
you.
it through like Google Meetups or Zoom or?
Yes. Yeah, I can do Zoom. A lot of times I just do it with my headphones and I'm listening because I want the person quiet in a quiet space and looking into themselves. But if you do want to see me work on you, that's fine. But I'm going to have you shut your eyes anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, even if you come to me in person, I make you shut your eyes because I do a lot. I'm really moving. I'm doing real time stuff. So sometimes people get caught up in watching me, and it's not about that. But I can blow breaths of light on you and knock you out. So if that's too much of an issue, it's like be quiet and don't move here, and the angels will come and just put you to sleep for just a minute or two while I work in the spine or anything like that. But yeah, and I do a lot of toning. I have music. I work a lot with sage on my end.
Yeah.
And I'm working in the quantum field of your body, manipulating. So even in person, I don't always touch you because I'm more manipulating the holographic imagery, and they're all in different colors, what they are, and I can move things around and read them, and just your whole life opens up because you're inviting me in. So when you invite me in, I see everything, but we only talk about what is really important for what you're needing. And the angels are there. So we do a lot of like IV light packs on you, a lot of breath work. So you're doing breath work with me. I teach you how to do that. And a lot of people, you know, they got to take an Epsom salt bath afterwards.
Okay.
And they
I
need to
love
be
Epsom
down
salt.
and quiet. Yeah, yeah. And they got to just be quiet afterwards because it's so much. And I do it 24 hours a day because I work all around the world. So my time, it doesn't matter. It's when can we get you booked in? And
That's beautiful.
yeah, it's so deep, and I sing to you, and you get to hear me work with the angels, and they bring me tools, and I'm learning, and you know, it's just a co-joint thing. And oh, can I share this?
Yeah.
I got to do my first intrauterine surgery. One of my clients' daughter was pregnant with twins, and her little baby girl, the umbilical cord was detaching from the placenta, and she was about 27 weeks. And I never worked with her daughter at all, but I'm telling you, she let me work on her. And wow, I mean, when I looked into the body, into the uterus, the angels like clicked their finger. They snapped something, and the whole organ went clear, and I could see both babies. And yeah, I was sweating, and oh my God, that was about a 4.5 surgery. Yeah, that was intense, but she got born with her brother and everything looked fine. And we did, the angels taught me how to do a star stitching, and oh my God, it was just amazing. So to get in your, I know,
That's like heaven.
Yeah, and Sarah and the little girl, I just want to protect names. Yeah, she's 4 months old now, and she's doing really good. And she gained all the weight in utero with her brother, and it was just fabulous.
That's like a miracle. That's just
I
like,
know. I get so excited. I mean, I've healed bone cancer. This woman was dying, and took us
do
about
you do
6
work with
months.
people's pets?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of times when I'm doing the shamanic surgery, the animals will actually come gather with them, and I'll bless them and things like that. Yes, we love our little fur babies. I have 2 kitties. I have Sophie, and then we just got Sukinu, and Sukinu means the end of all suffering. He's just 2 months old, but yeah, we love our babies. They're such light workers themselves, you know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so before we go, I want you to take a last couple of questions, because I know, you know, there's been a lot, and
yes, there was.
Curious. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lee was talking about if I do work with Reiki techniques. I think this is like 5 levels above Reiki. But yeah, I work with your chakras, your hand chakras. I work with mine. My gift is to blow resurrection light codes. So I do a lot of breathing, and people get super cold because resurrection light is very cold, but they feel that. If I'm doing a remote session, if they're super tuned in with their body, they will feel everything I'm doing. So it's pretty amazing. But I was trained in my shamanic surgery gifts by Father God himself. So I did not have humans teaching me this. So let's see what else. Can you work on my cat? Yes, Evelyn. We love our little fur babies. Yes, I can.
I told you. I didn't even see the question. I just intuitively knew people would be
Oh,
asking.
yes, you're good. Yeah. And then Jennifer was saying, I learned talking with my brother who passed away a few years ago that I have to command him to get answers. Yeah, I get a lot. Yep. They're there to assist us. The people that can come in during a session, because I don't promote that, and they can't get past my angels. So if you have a loved one from the other side, usually they'll show up on the other side of the angel, and I'll see their head, and then we'll talk about it, and then I got to ask Father, and then we'll let them through. But most generally, the ones that get to come in and talk are a part of your cloud of witness. So that's kind of a common thread I see working on people. But yeah, it's not always necessary to talk, but there are some things that need to be said and told. So we definitely will pay attention to that, especially with the babies.
Right.
I've had a lot of women that have lost children and then they want to come in. So I'll have them come in and sit right next to me and I can see them and they talk to me and I can talk to, yeah, it's really awesome.
Oh my
How do we
God.
contact you?
Can I just
Yes.
tell you, like, this
Yeah,
has
please.
been so much fun.
I know. I
And
love it.
it's
I
just
love
so
it.
amazing. So I want you to give everybody your info again. It's in the description. And you guys make sure you're liking this. Please
Yes.
comment after we post it, not just in the chat, but after it's posted, so we can share this to the collective.
Oh,
Okay?
please
Make
do,
sure
because I'm all out. I'm
and
just
share it with
waiting.
your friends and stuff like that on your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever. Just share it, because this is information that people need to hear. And it's
Yes.
just important because it's about love, but it's also about the journey of really learning to really transmute and let go of all the
Yes.
pains and traumas.
Yes.
And I may need to hit you up for some shamanic surgery
Oh,
myself.
let's
So that,
go. That's my favorite thing.
oh
But
God,
you
that
know,
sounds so good. I just get like excited thinking about it. So okay, as before we say goodbye, please, my friend, the floor is yours. And share your social media. Like, it's all down below, but people also
yes.
need to hear it. So share
Yes.
where people can follow you and support you, and then
Yes.
also book services with you.
Yes. Oh gosh, there's so much. So ChristedBride.com is the path of healing, and you'll find all the workbooks and everything. FragranceOPrayer.com is my ministry, and you can actually send me a contact form through there. Let's see what else. Yeah, I've got Facebook, Twitter. I have it all. So at the bottom of my website at ChristedBride.com, you'll see the icons on the footer at the very bottom, and you can click on
But
that.
is the Twitter and the Facebook, is it Christed Bride?
No, I think Facebook is sunshine.rose, because that's my nickname from heaven, is Sunshine Rose.
Oh.
Yeah, so each one is a little bit different because I kind of made it as a personal page.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it's
I
just
just want
easier.
them to be able to, to be able to support you and stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yes, and just send me an email through my website. Give me your
Oh, and
phone
the
number.
sun, and tell them the sunshine is SON, right?
Yes, SON.
Okay, you guys, that's what I'm saying. We got to give them the
Yes,
info.
because we are sons of God.
Aha.
Uh-huh.
Did I tell you, you are such a Virgo moon, and I love it. I love it. I
Really?
love it. I love it.
And let me tell your audience, this has been amazing because I have never allowed anybody to read my chart before, ever. And Father said, let her do it. And it's all this.
Well, then wait, now you just said something really big there. That makes me feel so humbly honored.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That you even got that confirmation and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm serious.
Beautiful.
I always ask Daddy about everything. But yes, contact me. I've got emails, christedbride@gmail.com. And you can just talk to me directly if you give me your phone number and you want to visit with me over the phone, or if you want to go meet for coffee, or you want to look at my books, whatever. Let me come and pray with you. Let me anoint you. And let me bless you. That's what I'm here to do.
Oh, so do you? Okay, now this is a question. Do you anoint people? Do you do anointing for people's homes?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I clean the ground and everything. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of traumas in the earth. Okay, and I can clear that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I do. It's just kind of tell me what you need, and the angels, they teach me how to teach you because they, and Daddy knows you really well. So, we just do little baby steps at a time, and we're all walking each other back home. And it's such a privilege. I just get all choked up because it's like, I'm so happy.
I know. It's very humbling. I know.
Yes.
It's very beautiful. Well, my friend, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. And everybody,
I love you all. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so
and
much.
I'll wait for you to contact me.
Yes, you guys reach out. And make sure you guys comment and like and share and reach out and get in contact with her. You will not be disappointed. Okay.
Yeah, and Eric, I would love to do a session on you just to do a deep
Yes.
cleaning and just an energy release.
Oh yeah.
for-
Listen, even as I've been healing and awakening these last 18 months
Mhm.
from my little nap,
Yeah,
I still have some little aches and pains, some joints.
I know. I'm seeing him,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
believe
there's things in there that I can tweak for you and
But I
help
gotta
you.
say, I'm humbly honored and amazed at how I have resurrected myself. You know what I mean?
I know. Look, we're very powerful. And now we've got
Yes.
these special tools that are going to take us all the way now. And I'm just so excited about it.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
Thank you.
All
And
right,
thank
you guys.
beautiful
This
audience.
is
Yeah.
episode 148. Knowledge is love.
Mwah.
And this has really been a pleasure. Thank you, my
Yes,
friend. God
thank
bless
you. Many blessings.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Take care. See you Saturday night. 149 Marilyn Monroe. We're going to talk about it live and build off of the chart reading.
Perfect.
Thanks. Bye.